Well, hello, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. It's really bizarre to see that I've got a delay when I'm talking. Um, I've seen a delay. It's really quite freaky, but I hope you're doing well. So, yes, if you've got a spare $10 million, you too could have the house of Melissa Caddick. It's interesting because it is going up on for sale, and they are expecting to get, I don't know, I've seen conflicting reports. I've seen up to 10 million, I've seen up to 17 million. Anyway, it's for sale, and you can definitely grab get the mansion that she had. So it's really, really interesting. So let's have a look. I'm just pulling up some articles about it now. I actually saw it on the Channel 9, because I think Channel 9's got a video that we can watch. So I think, yeah, it was this one that I saw by Raffaella Cicerelli, who mentioned 17 million. The ABC mentions 10 million. I've not seen an official listing, but yes, I said $10 million. I don't know. Tell me whether you. I'm interested to. So here we go. Her Denver Heights mansion is listed for sale. So let's have a look. Because remember, they've got to sell it because of the fact that she owes people money. So let's have a look. There's probably going to be an ad here. First of all, because they always put ads in. It's good. I'm not working either. I've decided to take the day off. So take my money. Yeah, they want to take my money here. Okay, so her sprawling Dover Heights mansion is listed for sale. So tell me, I'm interested to see what you think. What do you think of the house? I know that they've staged it. I know that they've paid for stages. So it says it's now listed for sale. Nearly after 2 years after she vanished. So it's a major asset that the receivership property will help pay return money to investors who fell victim to the scheme. And it says the listing comes as Caddicks' husband and former hairdresser Anthony Coletti was evicted from the 5-bedroom home in May. He had to leave in May. So if you remember the story, she defrauded more than 50 investors, more than $25 million, and her parents are part of that. So he'd been living in the house rent-free since the disappearance. In addition to 5 bedrooms, the property boasts expensive views of Sydney's harbours with 4 bathrooms and a pool. The home is listed for sale with Sydney's Sotheby's International Realty and has an estimated value of between $15 million to $17 million. So again, some of the pictures. So Bruce Gleason from Jones Partners, who are the receivers and liquidators of Melissa Caddick and her company, says that they had to go to court to get permission to sell the house. They've taken certain maintenance and minor improvements to amplify the property's luxurious appeal. I believe they've staged it. So it will be conducted via expression of interests, which will close on the 31st of October, and a private auction will occur afterwards. So if you're interested, the spare 10 mil. So it's added to close to finalise an application to federal court seeking sale orders regarding Caddicks designer jewellery, clothing and artwork. So everything that they've wanted to sell, they've had to go to court for. The only thing that is still up in the air at the moment is the house the parents are in. So this is the ABC's reporting of it. And again, they've got the same pictures. Apparently she paid $6.2 million in 2014, and it's estimated to be worth more than $10 million. So to deter nosy neighbours and those following the most recent inquest developments, Sydney's Sotheby's, which has listed the home, will require a $10,000 refundable deposit before inspection. So you need 10 grand to go view the house, which you will get back after you've inspected it. I mean, yeah, right. Earlier this year, the cars were sold. They sold the cars. There was the 2016 Audi and this 2016 Mercedes-Benz, and they got $295,000 and $66,000 for those. And the sale, the proceeds from the car, the $361,250, are set to be distributed among the investors along with the sale of the house. So as I said, once the house is sold, that will be a big chunk of that, and then they've the jewelry, the clothing, and the artworks. So they're hoping to have an update and be able to give investors an idea of what they will get back late in October 2022. Now, talking about the receivers, they put in an application. So this was an interlocutory application on the 20th. So this is something that they need. It's an application that they need the court to do something with. It says case management hearing. So this is going to be heard on the 10th of the 10th at 9:30. So it says the applicants in the interlocutory application, Bruce Gleason and Daniel Robert Sora, in their capacity as joint and several receivers of the receivership property of the first defendant as appointed by this court, pursuant to the orders of Her Honour Markovic on 22nd November 2021, apply for the interlocutory orders set out in this application. The court will hear this application or make orders for the conduct of the proceeding at the time and place stated below. All right. So, and it's got the court stamp on it, so we know that it's gone through. The application is made pursuant to Rule 14.24 of the Federal Court Rules, 2011, Section 37M2B of the Federal Court Act, 1976. Orders 7B and 15 of the orders made in this proceeding on the 22nd of November 2021, and the court's inherent jurisdiction for including approval of remuneration. An order that the remuneration of the applicants as receivers of the property of the first defendant, receivership property for the period from the 23rd of February 2021 to November 2021, Balance of interim receivership period to be fixed in the sum of $87,118.35 inclusive of GST. So this is the money that they're asking because they've had to incur costs to. There's been costs incurred to manage the properties and stuff. So now they're asking for the court to approve reimbursement. From the 23rd of November to 30th of June, be fixed to $354,613.5. In respect of A or B, be fixed in another amount as the court determines fit and proper. So if the court doesn't like that, they can come up with another option. There are all calculations and everything, and in the orders, there would have been a calculation that would have been approved by the court. An order for the costs and expenses of the receivers, the balance of the interim receivership period for $95,667.46 for the initial receivership period to be fixed at $393,648 inclusive of GST, or in respect of A and B. The remunerations and costs and expenses to be paid from the receivership property, including from the receiver's trust account created in accordance with Order 4D of the orders dated the 22nd of November 2021. The costs, expenses, remuneration of the applicants as referred to in Orders 1 and 2 be paid out of the receivership property in priority of all unsecured debts claimed in receivership. In the determination of any remuneration in accordance with Order 1C be referred to the Register of the Court. The determination of any costs or expenses in accordance with Order 2 be referred to the Registrar of the Court for determination. The applicant's costs and incidental to these applications be costs in the receivership of the first defendant, such further or other orders. So they're wanting to get their money from the sale of the property, essentially. That once the property is sold, that they can get paid. It's probably a standard thing. So we know. So we know that the property is going for sale, so that's going to be So that's their bill. That's the bill that they want paid by the. That's the bill that they want. The receivers have gone to court and asked for their bill to be paid. Essentially, I mean, whether the court thinks it's too high or not, that's up to the judge to decide. So I haven't really done much on. We're going to head over to the Katie Joy at the moment. And then we're just going to do a little bit of a chat. Whoever's around, we can have a chat. I guess they put the husband out. Yeah, in May, Christine. In May, he was ordered out in May, and work. I mean, if you look at the photo when they went and did the house, I said it was very sterile. It looks like they've actually put a nice coat of paint on there, and they've had the property all. They've had the property done up, and I think it looks quite nice now. But you need $10,000 to get through the door to even inspect it. It's quite fascinating, and anywhere between 17 to lots of other. Up to 17 million, I think. So she's going to get double the amount. You're going to get double the amount. But who would want to buy the house, though, is what I want to know. And I don't know what he's doing either, but I know that he was getting an allowance from the estate, but I don't know what happened with that. There's been nothing to do that. So they've got the parents trying to keep their property, and now the receivers have put in a huge bill. So sorry, I'm blocked on this account. So yeah, it'd be strange to live. It would be strange to live in the house, wouldn't it? I mean, you'd have to. I guess it's like, but it would, and it's a pretty famous property now, so everybody would know about it. So I just want to look at what's going. Yeah, some of the Twitter stuff. No, not Twitter. Instagram. So this is. I mean, it's a bit bizarre to put this on. Of course, and that's why they've put the $10,000 on it. That's why they've put the $10,000 entry fee on it, because they only want serious people. Because otherwise, they'll have everyone wanting to drive by. Of course. Okay, so this is her Instagram post that she put. So she's doing some colouring in. Oh, and apparently now she's a mediator. Apparently, according to my, so I'm not going to read all of that, but she's talking about how she's an introvert. She's a mediator. Did Katie Joy do a live? She did do one recently. We might look at that. Apparently, that was interesting too. Yeah, we can suss that out. Definitely, we can suss that out. That's not a problem. Yes, apparently she's a mediator, which is quite interesting considering that she says she hates confrontation. She hates drama, considering she's smack bang in the middle of lots of drama. Um, okay, now she's back on to Christine. This body is absurd. What, dear Adam, is this body absurd? What does she mean, body? It's a picture of her colouring in. What does this mean? Gets so crazy living, life gets hard to do, and I would gladly hit. Is this body absurd? Okay. Whatever. Oh, now she's back onto Adam Levine. Levine, is it Levine? Okay. She couldn't mediate her way out of a wet paper bag, says Christine. I know. Well, that's what you have lawyers for, right? Now, apparently, here's the thing. Says 2 more women accuse Adam Levine of sending them flirty messages while married on Instagram. But is flirty the same as, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends what your perception is. I don't know. Yeah. There's flirty and then there's inappropriate. Is flirty inappropriate? I don't know. It depends really what your definitions are. All right, so let's have a look at this. All right. We're just going to go to Llama Girl because she's the girl. She's got it all. Llama Girl is a legend. Let me just get her thing up. What's interesting is that there is a hearing coming up, a default hearing coming up. It looks like she hasn't met any of her deadlines. It's funny that, isn't it? I just find it really interesting how she's sort of been quiet on things lately. Okay, so let's have a look. We're gonna watch this. Right, here we go. Llama Girl.
Hello, everyone. I am actually literally just sitting here. It's Friday night.
Friday night and the lights are low. Someone has no place to go. Oh, gee, I paused it. Look at the pause. She might get a summary judgment if she doesn't comply. Well, Christina, if I was 7M, I'd be applying for a default judgment because if she hasn't complied, I'd do a default judgment and leave it at that. But yeah, look at the face.
I don't know. My hair's kind of a mess. I'm not going to be here for super long. I haven't been up. Hello. I am actually literally just sitting here. It's Friday night.
Didn't she just say that, or is this repeated? She's always preening. It drives me mad, says Christine. Yes, it is.
I don't know. My hair's kind of a mess. I'm not going to be here for super long. I haven't been up. Hello.
What's she doing with her lips? Oh, did you see that? Look at that eye. Look at that eye.
Hello, everyone.
What on earth?
Hello, everyone. Okay, I don't have a ton of time because I'm actually kind of tired. I am live. I've been having a hard time being motivated because of my allergies. I got a video done today, but then I've been spending a considerable amount of time talking to people from Colorado City and the former members of the FLDS. So I think you guys have seen some of my posts about that guy that was arrested. Okay, so I did not, okay, first of all, I didn't come on here to talk about any other topic.
Did you see her talking? Did you see? I saw that. Yes, I thought that I've seen some of it. I thought that was very interesting. I did think it was very interesting. Yeah, it was very interesting.
I came on here to talk about the FLDS, but let's just address this and then we can move on to other things because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about this. But Without a Crystal Ball is not affiliated with any pages. Without a Crystal Ball is a Minnesota LLC limited liability company that is based in Minnesota.
So she's talking about herself in third person, is that right? I mean, I didn't think she made a lot of sense in
me, and that's it. I'm not connected to any other pages. I do not pay anyone to act on my behalf. I don't pay other creators.
Hang on. She doesn't pay anyone to act on her behalf. Doesn't she pay her lawyers to act on her behalf for her legal matters? When you pay a lawyer, they're acting on your behalf with the court.
Who act on my behalf. I don't pay other creators to do.
Ba-ba.
to act on my behalf. I don't pay other creators to dig dirt. I don't have anyone do research for me. I don't have an assistant. I am a one-person show with my husband, and then I have a legal team.
Hang on. She's a one-person show with her husband. Well, that's two people. You can't have a one-person team with a husband and say with my husband. I have a one-person team with my husband. Well, that's two people, darling.
And then I have a legal team and business managers, and
that's more.
And then I have a legal team and business managers. I am a one-person show with my husband, and then I have a legal team and business managers, and that's it.
That's not a one-person team. That's not a one-person team. It's not a one-person show. Because no one would work with me, with her. Let's go back and listen to that again.
I am a one-person show with my husband, and then I have a legal team and business managers, and that's it. I don't have any relationships with any of these other pages that have covered any other topics that I've covered. I'm not affiliated with any one of these crane pages or nonsense on the web. I don't have a relationship with them outside of the fact that they reported on a story that I reported on, but I'm not in their, I'm not the same people, I'm not connected to them. There's literally, I get a lot of messages daily, like, what's going on with the Von McCrae story or this or that, and there's really not anything to report because there's nothing new to the story. And
I did hear that maybe that he was in a nursing home. Well, that would be an update, wouldn't it? Christine says if she really has business managers, they are terrible. Yeah, I'd like to know what they're telling her.
I'm not reporting on that story anymore. I've posted what I needed to say on my page and on my channels, but really I'm not focusing on that content anymore. And there's nothing to report. There's really nothing to say. A lot of the people that are claiming that I'm doing things and interrupting things, and I've been accused of crimes, and I honestly haven't directed anyone to do anything. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. When it comes to, so if you want to know what other people are doing, I can't tell you. Sorry. So when it comes to this situation in Sherry, there's nothing to report. So there, I did one video. Thank you, Christy.
Has she had her lips plumped or something? Her lips, I don't know.
For that message. I don't watch Mary. I haven't lately. Hi, Helly. Okay, so here's what I was going to say about, I did speak to Kristen Decker today, who is an advocate to help people leave polygamy. But Kristen and I were really, actually today, we were talking about the FLDS stuff.
So, yeah. Okay, so trigger warning. So this one comes with a trigger warning. I'm sorry.
A week and a half ago, and he's been charged with destruction of evidence and tampering and all of this, and then he has some child abuse. So, what is going on in the FLDS stuff? So, I've been posting about this guy named Samuel Bateman who was arrested a week ago or a week and a half ago, and he's been charged with destruction of evidence and tampering and all of this, and then he has some child abuse charges that he has in Arizona because of carrying young girls that were in his trailer, and it was an enclosed trailer, and 9 girls were removed from his house that were not related to him, and it's been a really weird process to learn all of the information that I'm learning, because I'm getting information from people that are literally in Colorado City that are not in the FLDS, and then there's former members of the FLDS that are reaching out to me who are not in Colorado City but have information. It's pretty sad, everything that I'm learning about the women that are involved in this group. Obviously, you guys have seen a lot of the documentaries that have been made about this cult, but I think it really underscores, if I'm going to be honest, the abuse that these women go through. I think a lot of times people look at these women and they're like, you just need to leave. And like, I'm not even joking. I spent time on the phone with this woman who's a former member of the FLDS. And
why does she always say, I'm not even joking? Is she trying to show us or prove to us that what she's saying is true?
Time on the phone with this woman who's a former member of the FLDS, and she left after years of being in, and she had joking. I spent time on the phone with this woman. We'll look at these women and they're like, you just need to leave. And like, I'm not even joking. I spent time on the phone with this woman who's a former member of the FLDS, and she left after years of being in, and she had kids, and she was a sister wife, and she's lost multiple children, one, to suicide and to illness, and so many of her sister wives have lost children to suicide that have left at the FLDS, and it's because of the trauma
Trigger
that they've
warning.
experienced. And I'm you hear stories about women that they know what they're doing is wrong. Like, they know that the world that they live in is wrong, but they are so scared to leave because these men literally are threatening to kill them. They stalk them when they leave. These women they will lie to the faces of the public and say everything is fine because they know that if they say anything else, that's what this woman said to me. Is like, if you would have interviewed me and asked me how everything was, I would have said it was fine, everything's great, even if he beat me up, because if I said anything, I knew that he wasn't going to get in trouble. I would end up under his thumb the minute he was released from prison, and I would take the heat again.
Okay. Yeah, you're right, Christine. It is starting to get a little bit old. Okay, so here we go. Oops.
So abused that it's like they're stuck, and I think it's one thing to have, like, you can have definite empathy for them. It's just I don't think I was really prepared for the level of abuse that these women and these children are going through. It's really sad. And it's been pretty eye-opening to hear their stories.
Christine says she never says anything new about cults. I don't know why her followers listen. I don't know either, because there's lots of stuff on even YouTube about the FLDS cults and how bad they are, and
it's even what you hear in the videos, and I've read so many books on the FLDS. I've read so many books, podcasts, videos, and I'm not even kidding. Like,
and again, she keeps saying, I'm not even kidding. Why do you have to keep saying I'm not even kidding? Because it doesn't give any more credibility to what she's saying by saying I'm not even kidding or I'm not joking.
I've read so many books, podcasts, videos, and I'm not even kidding. Like, speaking on the phone to this woman who had, I don't know, 10 children.
Hello, Dee. How are you? I know. Look, life is just crazy for me at the moment, and I'm getting on when I can. So, yeah, I hope you're doing well. We're just watching KJ's live, and earlier we decided that if you had a cool $10 million, you could buy a mansion. So why does she need to listen to it? She doesn't help them. No, she listens to the story for the content, I'm sure. Oh, I'm glad to see you too, Dee. It's great to see you. Look at that. She's looking away. My class isn't really finished. I'm about to do study review. I've got the exams in 2 weeks, so I might be on a little bit more because as I said, classes and my workload's getting a little bit smaller, so just a tiny bit.
was abused for years. I was not prepared for the level of abuse that she experienced, or her kids. I thought what I had heard about Warren Jeffs was bad. And I had no clue how terrifying it was to be a woman in this cult. And how paralyzed they are in fear because of the abuse. And when people talk about the sister wives, there are different sects. I want to be clear about something. There's different.
Did she say there's different? I'm assuming she's saying SECTS, but it sounds like she's saying SEX. Have a listen.
The sister wives, there are different sects. I want to be clear about something. There's different sects of
Sexed.
I want to be clear about something. There's different sects of splinter groups of the fundamentalism, but their beliefs are all fundamentally the same. So even if it's the FLDS doing this, and the AUBs, who the Browns are, the sister wives, they're still part of a very toxic, abusive system that abuses women and children. And women and children are property in these groups. They don't have their own autonomy, and they don't believe that they have. I mean, they don't have any personal agency. And I think the sister wives really has underscored the severity that these women go through. And even today, it's being misrepresented why Mary stays. It's being misrepresented. Mary's not staying because of money. I mean,
didn't she say that she was staying because she actually does really love him? Not my cup of tea, but is it really hard that people
help support Leon and whatever?
Is it really bad
doing, Leon and Audrey, but
for people to stay because they love somebody? I don't know. Is that really a foreign concept these days? Love? And is it any of my business as to why she stays?
She needs to have money to pay for herself and help support Leon and whatever they're doing, Leon and Audrey. But it's because of their beliefs that she stays, because she believes she's going to go to heaven only through Cody, and she can't leave. And they're supposed to be miserable. That's just sort of how it works. So,
but is she miserable though? Seriously, is she miserable? She runs her own B&B. She's got her business. Is she miserable? I think she's living a good life. She seems to be happy, but Katie, just because you're miserable doesn't mean that everybody else has to be.
How it works. So, it's one thing to say that, like, these women have a choice, and it's a whole other thing when you understand, like, the level of brainwashing and fear that they grow up in, and how much choice there really isn't. And then, if you actually understand that Cody is going to act a certain way because he's got to please other fundamentalists, and he's got to appear a certain way so he doesn't lose favor, because his behavior is contingent on whether or not he gets more wives. They don't get to just get more wives. I mean, that's not how it works. They have to be, like, approved through the elders. That's why he can't let any of the wives go. Like, he literally cannot let Mary go. If he were to...
Oh, you can hear V in the background. I thought she just said he can't let any of the wives go, but Christine's gone. And you can hear V in the background. I'm blocked on Facebook, so I didn't know that. I don't know. I just looked it up. I've just seen it. Her Facebook's there. But have a listen. She said,
"Yep, they don't get to just get more wives. I mean, that's not how it works. They have to be, like, approved through the elders. That's why he can't let any of the wives go. Like, he literally cannot let Mary go. If he were to abandon Mary, the elders of the church would tell him that he has failed as a priesthood, and he would get probably disciplined. And he would never have an opportunity to get any more wives.
What about Christine? That just contradicts everything, and you can hear V in the background, by the way.
Through the elders. That's why he can't let any of the wives go. Like, he literally cannot let Mary go. If he were to abandon Mary, the elders of the church would tell him that he has failed as a priesthood, and he would get probably disciplined. And he would never have an opportunity to get any more wives. So the women can leave without him getting in trouble, but he cannot kick them out, or he will never get another wife.
So that's how she's got around the contradiction, that the wife can leave. But it was his actions that forced Christine to leave, wasn't it?
That's why they just ignore the women, and they treat them terribly, because they know that the women will stay, because the women are going to stay because they have to go to heaven, and that's the only way they're going to get to heaven. It's really, really, really sad. So sad. Yeah, the order is the order is horrible, actually. And all these groups, it's so incestuous, and there's so much abuse. It's just so sad.
Again, making blanket statements.
I think I've been, like, heavy, because I've been, like, a lot of my time and energy has been spent on this situation with the FLDS and the splinter group.
And this...
No.
She lies.
Alfreda's not here. And I was thinking about how a couple years ago, no, Alfreda's not here. A couple years ago, there was this order.
Did she say no, V's not here?
And I was thinking about how a couple years ago, no, Alfreda's not here.
Yeah, V's not here. V's not here. V's not here, but he was in the background.
There was this order through the court that all people that were FLDS had to, like, agree or sign over something. They had to sign some deed or something, I don't remember. But there was an order that unless you signed this document, you didn't own your property. And the FLDS had, like, occupied this area, the Hilldale in Colorado City, and all the property there belonged to this United, I don't even know what it's, UEP, I don't know what it stands for. But it was, like, this United group that the church owned, and so, like, all the property was owned through them. So even if they had a house, they didn't really own the houses all through this group that was, like, covered the whole group.
Well, if you can't name it, why should I believe you? If you can't give me the details.
All the property was owned through them. So even if they had a house, they didn't really own the houses all through this group that was, like, covered the whole group. And it was for members and everyone. So everything was, like, community held. And they sued the FLDS, and the court basically gave, like, the FLDS lost all their property, they lost all their money, they lost everything. And then the former members that were kicked out were able to come back and get property. And so people that stayed that were in the FLDS.
The thing is, she hasn't done a live in a while, I believe, Christine. So, yeah, it's same old, same old. And Tracy says, stop, your house is in your father's name. Why talk about others? See, while actually talking about other people, you can deflect the truth. You know, it's a form of deflection.
Were evicted if they didn't sign these documents. And there was, like, this group of advocates that came in, and they were, like, trying to help them not get evicted. Okay, so this is where I was going to say, like, I don't want to there was this group of advocates that was trying to keep them there, and that's created a huge problem because those advocates enabled the FLDS people to stay there, which allowed Sam Bateman to stay in Colorado City, which allowed a lot of these polygamists to remain in the city and the abuse to never stop. And so they should have been evicted. They should have been kicked out. They should have been out and left and had to disperse, but they didn't because this group came in and tried to make people feel sorry for the people that were being kicked out. The people that were trying to stay, by the way, that they were advocating for, were following Warren Jeffs. So they were indirectly helping Warren Jeffs.
So now she's saying the people that were advocating weren't actually really advocating. Is that what she's saying? Is this another? Is there another lawsuit in the works? I don't know. We haven't had one for a while.
By advocating to help them. I don't know if that makes sense. But if you stand up for people in the FLDS, you are standing up for Warren Jeffs. And so if you're helping people that are in the FLDS, you are helping Warren Jeffs. If you're helping his people stay on their property, you are helping Warren Jeffs because they believe that Warren Jeffs is their prophet.
Isn't he in jail? Is it me or is it really hard to follow anything? Oh, it's really hard. I can't follow it.
And I was thinking about how, and they believe that he is their God, and they listen to him, even though he's like losing his sanity. I don't know if you follow Rachel Blackmore, his daughter, but she describes him as like senile, losing touch with reality. He's gone on like tons of hunger strikes. The UEP, thank you. So anyway, the property was all supposed to go over to the UEP, and it didn't get there. And so these advocates that claim to be against human trafficking and sex trafficking fostered a way to help the FLDS stay in Colorado City.
Hang on. So she's back on her favourite topic again, human trafficking and sex trafficking. Oh, by the way, today is the International Day against sex trafficking. Today is the International Day to speak about sex trafficking. I just saw that on the internet before, and so I was going to have something. Oh, human trafficking, actually. International Day Against Human Trafficking, I believe. And if I'm wrong, then my information's wrong, which would be right, but it doesn't matter. It's just interesting that human trafficking is still a big prevalent issue, even in Australia. And it's not, a lot of it's not got to do with religion either, I hate to tell her. Sorry, today's the day. Sorry, I need to rephrase that. Today is the International Day of Prayer for Victims of Human Trafficking. So today's the International Day of Prayer for Victims of Human Trafficking. So I knew it was an international day for something and to do with the human trafficking. So, International Day of Prayer for Human Trafficking.
While then proclaiming that they were cult experts and cared about victims.
Is she talking about herself? Sorry, have a listen to this.
Stay in Colorado City, while then proclaiming that they were cult experts and cared about victims. And then those same people were doing documentaries on Netflix and
claiming.
Those same people were doing documentaries on Netflix and talking about Nexium and claiming to care about sex trafficked victims.
I'm looking at the girl in the mirror. Oh, yeah.
But yet helping Warren Jeffs by letting his group stay in Colorado City. If you're helping the FLDS in any capacity, you are helping Warren Jeffs. You are helping.
Does she not realize that sometimes you've got to lose a battle to win the war? So sometimes you actually have to be seen to be helping something to happen before you actually fix it. That's why you have undercover cops and they do stuff. They get into, you know, the crime scene so that they can bust it. Sometimes you actually have to be seen to be supporting something in order to bring it down. But anyway, there may have been a bigger picture here at play.
Helping Warren Jeffs' brothers, you are helping Warren Jeffs' son, who Hellerman is like the de facto leader now. They're about to reinstitute illegal marriages again. They're going to start marrying people again. So you have.
They're going to start marrying people again?
They're going to start marrying people again. So you have.
I know what she's trying to say, but trying to marry people again? Yeah, right.
This group now that is still in Colorado City, and if they're not, they're right outside, that are still like, and they're telling everyone to move back now. Go back there. We're going to let you get married. We're going to make you have kids. We're going to let you have kids, which means that the underage marriages are going to start again, which means all of the crap that was happening before is going to start all over. And
it's never actually disappeared. All of that stuff is happening around the world, not just in the FLDS.
Facilitated because people helped them stay. Does that make sense?
No.
You don't help a cult leader stay. You don't help a cult leader stay. I want to tell you something about advocacy.
Oh, sorry. All right, everybody, we're going to learn about advocacy. Is everyone sitting down? Everyone got your books and pencils ready? You're going to take your notes. Ready? We're going to learn about advocacy.
I work with advocates every day. I have 2 amazing advocates that I work with. I work with advocates every day. Stay. Hey, you don't help a cult leader stay. I want to tell you something about advocacy. I work with advocates every day. I have 2 amazing advocates that I work with. One, her name is Kristen Decker. She has Sound Choices Coalition, and another is Melissa Hansen, who has also done work with us, Sound Choices Coalition.
She's just named them.
A couple years ago.
I don't know.
And Kristen have worked tirelessly to try to ensure that the laws remain the same, okay? That it would remain a felony for polygamists, for polygamy to be a felony. They tried so hard at the Capitol to show the dangers of polygamy under the guise of religion and how harmful it is. And this group, Voices for Dignity, that claims to be against sex trafficking and human trafficking, brought the FLDS to the Capitol to share their stories about why the law needed to become an infraction. Do you care about victims of polygamy, sex trafficking, and human trafficking if you are trying to loosen the laws? No. Some people argued that loosening the laws would make them more open, live more open, and less scared. And the advocates that I spoke to said that would not matter. It does not change anything. Because when it wasn't that way, it didn't change anything. It's the practice itself that's harmful. And Utah, which claims to be hard on polygamy, no, they're not.
Actually, did she just pull dog hair out of her mouth?
Because when it wasn't that way, it didn't change anything. It's the practice itself that's harmful. And Utah, which claims to be hard on polygamy, no, they're not. They've turned a blind eye to polygamy for years, decades. They never prosecute it. It's horrible. They will never prosecute it because the religion is so closely tied to the LDS church, and they don't want to attack the religion because they would be basically attacking their own faith, because on the surface, there's not a lot of difference. I mean, there's differences between the LDS and the FLDS, but they use the same books. They might not believe in polygamy anymore, but if you know the backstory of the LDS and the Mormon faith, Joseph Smith was a pedophile that developed a religion, and he had wives that were 14 years old that his wife never knew about. He had like really young girls that he was married to. It's disgusting.
Okay. You've got to also, I'm not defending them, please don't, I'm not just, but when you go back to even the times of the Bible and everything, there is the view that Joseph was in his mid-40s, that he may have been a widower, that he may have lost it, and that Mary, she was between 12 and 14 years of age. That was the lifestyle that they did. When a woman got to a certain age, they were married. That was the times, okay? Times have changed. Times have changed. The age of consent used to be a lot lower, particularly in the around the world, and we have fought to be able to get the age of consent raised. But when you're looking at stuff that's happened in history, you have to look at the context of the time. There was once upon a time where pinching a woman on the backside was deemed as a compliment. Now it's deemed as sexual harassment. You married early because you didn't live as long. That says Christine. That was the thing, wasn't it? Because they had short lifespans. But I don't know much about Joe. So when you take that into, even if you look at some of the, I know that in some of the, that was how the times was. In our eyes now, is it right? Definitely not. But I can't judge what's gone on in the past through eyes of today. I guess that's. I'm hoping I'm making sense. Because there's going to be, in the future, people are going to look at the way that I've parented and go, "Gee, that was really cool what she did as a parent." But it was acceptable at this time of even parenting's changed over the years. The place of women have changed. I can't look at, the 1950s and say the woman was oppressed, or the woman was, because that was the expectation and the lifestyle at that stage. I can't look at it in those eyes. I have to look at it in the context of 1950s, or in the time period. In the time period, was it acceptable for there to be brides at the age of 14? Maybe there was. I don't know. However, I can't make that judgment because I don't have the full context. That's my thing. I mean, people were put onto a ship and brought to Australia. I mean, one of my children's ancestors had purchased stolen goods, and she was sentenced to the penal colony of Australia. Now you can defend yourself against purchasing stolen goods. It's not seen as a big crime unless it was done intentionally, unless you knew the goods were stolen. So things have changed, but you can't judge stuff from the past in the current view. What do you think? I mean, as I said, it's just my opinion, but that's how I stand by things. So when Joseph Smith was around, and also remember, there was also a time when it was acceptable to have multiple wives. Again, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing.
No, there's no updates on Marvon, and I won't be talking about that anymore. It's horrible. No, there's no updates on Marvon, and I won't be talking about that anymore. I shared that in the very beginning of this. be talking about him anymore. There was no crime committed with Marvon. I would appreciate if I'm continuing to talk about the FLDS, that we're not inundate with unrelated stuff.
Oh, people are getting off topic. How dare they? I wonder whether she got a cease and desist. I mean, look at the way children were disciplined. That's changed over the years. Many of us would have been, many of our parents would have been thrown into jail because of child abuse. If we judge what happened to us as children in today's standards, but in the standards of the time that we lived in, it was acceptable. Does that mean that it was correct? It was right?
So, long story short, sometimes people pose as advocates when they're really not advocates. Really not advocates. And sometimes people pose as advocates when they're really not advocates. And they act as though they care about people when they really don't care about people. And if you're trying to help a group reduce their laws, help them stay in their homes, and then you go on to Netflix and all these different documentaries and you claim that you're an advocate, you're not really an advocate.
Wasn't she doing a Netflix documentary? What's she looking at?
Do I know? Sorry. I'm trying. So what I've been doing and what I'm going to continue to be doing is behind the scenes. I'm going to try to keep helping the people that I can help as it relates to this situation right now with the FLDS, with the Samuel Bateman stuff. I'm going to continue to work with the advocates that I work with that don't enable the victims to stay in a cult, but also love unconditionally and are firm with their boundaries, will help anyone that wants to leave anywhere, anytime, but will not enable anyone to stay. So if you want help to get out, we'll help you get out. We're not going to enable you to stay.
Oh, we are going to help you get out. We will help you get out.
We're not going to keep you in a system that's going to keep you abused. And that's the kind of advocacy these victims need. They do not need.
As I said, there might be another motive. They may be doing that in order to get a whole pile of evidence against them to be able to press charges, because you just can't charge people for things. You actually have to have evidence, and you actually have to be able to prove stuff. And unless you can prove it, it's no good.
Advocates that are helping them stay in a cult. And then you come.
And to be honest with you, all of this could actually be very damaging to the organization and any investigation going on, of course.
Come to find out that some of these people are like, it's just becoming more and more disturbing the more I'm learning. So I need to actually help. I got a text message from someone right now, but I gotta go. So yes, holding out hope helps them leave, not stay.
Okay, so there was some speculation that was from Toad. Why aren't you talking about, is it because she tells people to stay on topic, she gets a text message, and then she goes,
holding out hope helps them leave, not stay. Correct. Holding out hope and Sound Choices Coalition. But there's a lot of these safe houses that there's been abuse. It's just sad. But don't help someone stay in a cult. Love them. Be firm with them, but don't let them stay. And if you help the FLDS, if you are helping the people inside the FLDS stay in the FLDS, you are helping Warren Jeffs, okay? There's a whole group of people now that have left, that have found their freedom, and those people are not going to be silent anymore. And they're going to have a hard time rebuilding. They'll be damned if they allow it to happen again.
Oh, and she's gone.
I need to actually help. I got a text message from someone right now, but I got to go. So.
Oh, she's gone. So she's
yes,
gone.
Holding out hope helps them leave, not stay.
So anyway.
Correct. Holding out hope and.
So she left abruptly. So anyway, that was the live. So what did we learn?
It's horrible.
Yeah, but that's exactly what we learned. We learned it's horrible. Anyway, based on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I'll try and get on again sometime. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about the Caddicks house for sale and KJ's live. Like, what on earth is happening? There's something that's happened behind the scenes, and I've just got to now try and work out and piece together what's going on with all the court dates and see what I can come up with. Anyway, as I said, thank you for watching, and I will catch you again next time. And bye for now.